Well, the answer is simply the answer is that, well, when it got to a equals 5, a was 5, then it got to a equals 10. So a became 10 and it printed 10 out. Then a became 25 and then it printed out 25. But it didn't print out any space or enter in between, so they came out right next to each other and turned into the big number 10. 10, it became 1025 or 1025. And that's how variables work. You initialize them, you can set them equal to things, and you can use them in functions or whatever else you want to do with them. And that's how they work. Another important thing to note is how to make global variables, the difference between global and local variables, and how to make them, and also about initializing variables without evaluating them, without setting them to equal to something. Now I just want to show you something here. If I just write in A and then a semicolon without the equals or the value, then what it will do is it will go ahead and initialize the variable. It will say to the computer, hey, go ahead and find a little memory space and allocate that space to a variable called A. Make this space A. But it won't set it equal to anything. So the computer will say, well, what's this equal to? I don't know. Make it null. It'll make it equal to null. And null basically is the computer's way of saying empty. Nothing. There's nothing in here. Not even a 0. Not even false. Not even that. It's null. It's not even zilch. It's just nothing. It's neutral in a way. It's quite an interesting concept to think of. It's void. It's not void. It is. It is void. Is it? I don't know. Never mind. Interesting philosophical concepts to talk about, but this isn't a philosophy class at the moment. What do you mean at the moment? It's not a philosophy class. That can wait for another time, maybe a different series on my channel. Now I want to talk about the difference between global and local variables. Now, local variables, let's say I have int A here, okay? And then I write, and I set it equal to 5, int A equals 5, and then I write print A. Okay, so far so good. I press run, it runs fine. But because I initialized int A within a function, and the function was the setup function, when you initialize a variable within a function, it only exists within that function and only in that particular instance of the function. Here's what I mean. What I mean is if you take when you initialize the variable A, within the function, it initializes it. Okay, it says, okay, set aside memory space for A, and then set it equal to 5. Then you print A, and you print out 5. But then, when it gets to this part here, the end of the setup, it deletes A. It deletes any internal references that you might have put in from there. It deletes any of those variables, and those variables will be lost. It will delete A and allow it to be that space where A once was to be reallocated to some other variable. So if I were to then go into this draw function, which I've told you is definitely called afterwards, is definitely always called in a loop after setup, and I pressed run, I'd get a problem. Cannot find anything named A, and that's because we initialized A afterwards. If I take out this A here, and we get rid of this stuff in setup, and I put initialize A equals 5 here, okay, and then I wrote print A, and pressed play, it will run. And you'll notice, first of all, that it keeps on printing 5, 5, 5, until it keeps on printing 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, and so on and so on, and it just keeps doing it until I click exit that window to close the program, and that's because draw does in fact run in a loop as pretty much almost as fast as possible. Well, pretty fast. Maybe not as fast as possible, but pretty fast. And it just keeps printing out 5. Now I want to talk to you about global variables. So let's go enter down here so we can try and put in some stuff before setup and draw. What if I declare a variable here? Okay, I write int a equals 5. Now what? Well, a global variable is global because it can be accessed from anywhere within the program, and it stays all the time within the program. It is never deleted, and it is only initialized and created once at the beginning of the program, and it then exists with the rest of the program forever until the program is closed. So when I write int a equals 5, I can then write in setup print a, and it will have no problem printing a. I can then go ahead and write print a in draw instead. Print a. Okay? And that will work fine as well. Okay? But I do want you to notice something. Okay? Remember before we had int a in equals 5 in draw, okay, and everything worked fine. If I were to also write int a equals 5 here, we will have a problem. Okay, we won't. Never mind. Ignore that. It's fine. So that's what you need to know. Okay, variables outside any function are global variables. They are initialized once, and then part of the program from there on. Variables created within a function are initialized during that function, and then can be manipulated and used during that function, but then are destroyed and deleted once the end of that particular execution of the function. So, as an example with the draw function, I can't think of one. Oh well. But the point is that if I were to initialize the first time, initialize a in the draw function, as soon as the draw function loops again, a will have to be reinitialized every time it loops because it will have to be recalled from scratch. So thank you for watching this video. It's a pretty long one. I might make it 2 parts. On teaching you the basics of how variables work. Thank you for watching. My name is James Ryan, and I have been your host. Peace out.